You hungry, dogs?
Orchid Island Capital. Ticker symbol is ORC. So it's about $5 per share at the moment. And since coming onto trading 2 and 2 in April of this year, it's dropped a little bit. Dropped 50 cents, but it's pretty consistent downtrend. And if you have a look at the or the full history of the stock, it's been doing this for about 2 years. So although the yield, it's a monthly paying stock and a lot of people are attracted to it because it has a high yield and it pays every month. A lot of people are attracted to it, but this is the reality of a lot of those stocks, is that the share price doesn't do very well because they're distributing most of their income out to shareholders when the yield is that high. So what Orchid Island Capital does is they're a specialty finance company. They invest in residential mortgage-backed securities. So its investment strategy focuses on two categories of agency or MBS, which are residential mortgage-backed securities. Traditional pass-through agency residential mortgage-backed securities, such as mortgage pass-through certificates and collateralised mortgage obligations issued by the GSEs, and the structured agency residential mortgage-backed securities, such as interest-only securities, inverse interest-only securities, and principal-only securities, among other types of structured agency residential mortgage-backed securities. So its objective is to provide risk-adjusted total returns over the long term through a combination of capital appreciation and the payment of regular monthly distributions. Its portfolio of PT, residential mortgage-backed securities, not sure what the PT stands for, but it's comprised of adjustable rate residential mortgage-backed securities, also fixed rate ones, and hybrid adjustable rate ones. So its PT or MBS certificates include fixed rate mortgages and fixed rate CMOs, which are collateralized mortgage obligations. And its structured residential mortgage-backed securities certificates, they include interest-only securities and inverse interest-only securities. So a lot of derivatives and a lot of financial jargon. And to be honest, a lot of this I haven't heard of before, so I'm going to have to look into this a bit more myself. But there's no number of employees given. It's in the miscellaneous financial services industry based in the USA. Current dividend yield is 15.6%, and it's just barely positive earnings per share. So it's what you would call risky. What happens is, usually when a stock has a yield like this, either the share price will go nowhere or down, in most cases, because they're distributing all of their money, or they will cut the dividend because they can't afford to pay it. That's in my experience anyway. So its quarterly profit margin is 145%, which is good, and annually is about 5.5%. Its quarterly debt to assets is about 89%, and annually is about the same, closer to 90%. And its annual cash flow from operating is 55.37 million. From investing is negative about 200 million, and from financing is $164.8 million. Now the long-term graph is not looking good, to be honest. It's on a bit of a downtrend, pretty consistently now for a couple of years. And if they are invested in mortgage-backed securities and there's a bit of a real estate, I don't want to use any foul language, but you know what I mean, happening at the moment, then I don't know how well they're going to do. I don't know what the future will hold for them at all. And from their website, it gives basically the same brief description. However, this also adds, we operate to qualify to be taxed as a real estate investment trust for federal income tax purposes And generally, we will not be subject to the US federal corporate income tax to the extent that we currently distribute all of our REIT taxable income, as defined in the code, to our stockholders. And we intend to operate our business in a manner that permits us to maintain our exemption from registration under the Investment Company Act. We are externally managed and advised by Bimini Advisors, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Bimini Capital Management Incorporated, and their manager is an investment advisor registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. This seems to be quite a popular one at the moment, and I see a lot of people asking questions about it. And that to me spells uncertainty. Look into their financials. Shows me that the third quarter of 2020, they're making money. The fourth quarter of 2020, they were making money. And then this year, first quarter, net loss. Second quarter is a net loss. And they seem to be consistently paying their dividends, because I've held them for a little while and I have been getting them. But it's more like my own investment strategy means that I don't really have to worry about how good or bad this company is going to do. All I care about is whether or not they'll continue paying a dividend. And I'll have such a small position in them that I'm not too worried about them going to zero. It would be less than 1% of my total portfolio if Orchid Island goes to zero. So it's entirely up to you to make your own decision on a company like this. Because it does, to me, like if I had €1,000 to invest, I would maybe put €100 into this and then €100 into 9 other stocks. But I would never go all in on this one. Now, for all I know, it could be an absolutely fantastic company and they could just be having a bad time at the moment. I don't know enough about reading a company's financials to be accurate and to teach. I certainly don't know enough to teach. But in my opinion, this appears to carry quite a lot of risk. But it is entirely up to you. You've probably heard it a million times before, do your own research, do your own due diligence. And there's quite a lot here on the website. But in my own experience, most important thing to do is get information from other investors. A little bit longer than 5 minutes. But if you do like the idea of individual stock breakdowns, or if you want to follow a portfolio of about 530 different dividend stocks, feel free to subscribe. Let me know what you think. Or if you have any information on Orchid Island Capital, feel free to let me know. I'd greatly appreciate it. So thank you very much, and I hope that you'll stop by again soon.